We all feel it sometimes, a gentle tug or a sharp pull. Something seems to hold us back. It's like an invisible rope tied to our ankles perhaps, or maybe wrapped around our hearts. We want to move forward with our lives. We yearn to soar high. But the rope tightens, firm and unyielding. It keeps us feeling small, confined and undeniably stuck. These ropes are not made of coarse hemp or strong nylon. They are woven from far more subtle threads. Threads of deep-seated fear. Threads of persistent self-doubt. Sometimes these ropes are spun by the world around us, the relentless expectations, the silent, heavy judgments. We often don't even see them clearly at first, but we feel their considerable weight every single day. They shape our choices, our dreams, our very being. It is a burden many of us carry unknowingly. Think about a time you hesitated before a choice, a precious dream you carefully shelved away, a crucial word you ultimately left unspoken. What was it that truly stopped you in that moment? Was it the paralyzing fear of failing spectacularly? Or the quiet, insidious whisper that you weren't good enough? Perhaps it was the chilling thought of what others might say. These are the ropes, subtle, deceptively powerful, and they are very, very real in their impact on us. But here is the good news, the really wonderful, hopeful news. Ropes can be understood, they can be examined closely, and yes, they can even be untied with patience, or, if necessary, they can be cut with courage. This journey isn't about pretending they don't exist. It's about truly seeing them for what they are, naming them, understanding their origins, and then with newfound courage choosing to step free towards a life that feels genuinely, authentically ours. Fear. It's such a primal human emotion. It's originally meant to protect us, to shield us, to keep us safe from imminent danger, like a finely tuned built-in alarm system. But sometimes that very alarm system goes haywire. It starts ringing loudly for things that aren't saber-toothed tigers. It rings for exciting new opportunities, for raw vulnerability, for the very essence of change itself. Fear can become a constant, unwelcome companion in our lives. It colors our perceptions and limits our horizons. The fear of failure looms large for many. It screams, well, what if you try and fall flat on your face? It paints vivid, terrifying pictures of embarrassment, of deep personal disappointment. So we choose to play it safe. We stay in our comfort zone. That zone might feel secure, even cozy, but it's also where dreams slowly go to shrink and fade, where our vast potential remains frustratingly untapped. It is in essence a comfortable but gilded cage. True growth rarely happens in such confined spaces. Then there's the pervasive fear of judgment. What will they think of me? This fear ties us inextricably to the opinions of others. We become like chameleons, constantly adapting, changing our colors to fit in, to belong, to be accepted by the group. We silence our true, authentic voices. We carefully hide our most genuine selves, all to avoid the potential sting of disapproval or the deep, aching pain of not belonging. Fear also whispers insidious doubts about the unknown. The future stretches before us, a vast, uncharted territory. Stepping into it feels inherently risky, even perilous. So we cling desperately to the familiar, the known, even if the familiar is deeply unfulfilling, or in some cases actively painful. The known discomfort often feels safer than the unknown possibility. But real growth, meaningful growth, only happens when we dare to face that unknown, that beckoning fog. When we walk towards it with courage and an open heart. Self-doubt is that nagging, persistent voice inside, the one that seems to know all our deepest insecurities. It's our personal, highly effective internal critic. It whispers that we're not quite smart enough, not nearly talented enough, not truly worthy enough. It replays our past mistakes on an endless loop. It's a constant, unwelcome companion for so many of us. It often sounds like undeniable, unshakable truth, but it's usually just our fear wearing a clever disguise. Its mission is to keep us small and safe. This inner critic is remarkably, frustratingly persuasive. It uses our own voice, our own thoughts against us. It knows exactly where to hit for maximum impact. It tells us we don't truly deserve success, or lasting happiness, or genuine, deep love. So slowly we start to believe its damaging words. We lower our ambitions, we shrink our precious hopes. We convince ourselves that wanting less is being realistic, that aiming lower is the sensible path. It's a cunning, relentless saboteur of our joy. I remember wanting to apply for a challenging leadership role. My inner critic immediately had a field day with that. You? You seriously think you're a leader? You'll stumble over your words. You'll make a fool of yourself. Others are so much more qualified, so much better suited. It was a relentless, overwhelming barrage of negativity. It almost made me retreat, to pull back, almost made me believe I was aiming far too high. This internal voice can be so incredibly loud, so utterly convincing. It takes real effort to question its authority, but we can learn to challenge this critical voice. We can start by simply recognizing it when it speaks, by understanding that it's not the absolute, unvarnished truth, it's just a part of us. A very scared part, usually. We can thank it for trying so hard to protect us, and then kindly but firmly tell it that we're going to try anyway. We can choose to listen to a different, quieter voice, the voice of courage, the voice of self-compassion, the voice that believes in our inherent worthiness. This is how we begin to reclaim our inner landscape. Society has its own intricate set of ropes, unspoken rules, ingrained expectations, predefined paths. It subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, tells us who we should be, what we should want from life, how we should live to be considered successful or normal. These powerful messages come from everywhere, relentlessly. Our families, our schools, our workplaces, the media. They collectively create a mold, a standard template, a one-size-fits-all path to what is called a good life. It can feel incredibly restrictive, even suffocating at times, leaving little room for our unique individuality. Think about the immense pressure to follow a certain career path, the one that promises security or status, or the expectation to get married by a certain age, or to achieve specific milestones by a set timeline, or to look a certain way to fit a certain ideal. These societal scripts can be incredibly powerful. We often internalize them without even realizing it. We measure our own worth against these external benchmarks. And if we don't quite fit the prescribed mold, we can feel lost, like failures or outsiders. This pressure is constant. A friend of mine, let's call him Alex, loved art. His very soul seemed to sing when he painted, but his family expected him to become a lawyer. Art is just a hobby, Alex, not a real career, they'd say often. He tried to fit their mold for many long years. He was, by all external measures, quite successful on paper, but he was deeply, profoundly unhappy on the inside. The societal rope was slowly, painfully choking his true passion. His vibrant spirit was noticeably, tragically dimming. He was living someone else's dream, not his own. Breaking free from these pervasive societal molds takes immense courage. It means daring to define success on our own terms. It means choosing raw authenticity over easy approval. It might mean disappointing some people we care about. It might mean walking a less conventional, more uncertain path. But it also means living a life that feels genuinely true. A life that aligns with our deepest, most cherished values. And that kind of alignment, that kind of freedom is incredibly liberating. It is the path to a more meaningful and joyful existence. It is where our true selves can finally breathe and expand. Section 5, Tangled Threads. Stories of being held back. These limitations, our fears, our self-doubts, societal pressures, they don't often exist in neat, separate isolation. They usually get tangled together in complex ways. They create an intricate, confusing web around us, a web that can feel utterly impossible to escape from. One limitation often feeds directly into another. Fear fuels our already simmering self-doubt. Societal pressure amplifies our deep fear of judgment. It becomes a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle. This combination keeps us trapped far more effectively than any single thread. It makes the task of breaking free seem monumental. Consider Sarah, who dreamed for years of starting her own small business. The fear of potential financial instability held her firmly back. What if I lose everything I've worked for? She'd worry. Her self-doubt chimed in with its usual negativity. You're not nearly business savvy enough to pull this off. Societal pressure then added its considerable weight to the pile. Her friends all had stable, predictable corporate jobs. They openly questioned her risky and unconventional idea. The combined force of these ropes kept her stuck in a job she actively disliked for many, many years. Or think of Mark, a wonderfully sensitive and deeply caring man. He felt immense unspoken pressure to always be tough, to embody the traditional Stoic definition of masculine as society often dictates for men, even today. He was terrified to show any sign of vulnerability. He doubted his own inner strength if he expressed his true emotions. This societal expectation, coupled with his fear of being seen as weak, made him carefully hide his authentic, feeling self from the world. He consequently felt very lonely, very isolated. He longed for deeper, more meaningful connections with others. These stories, in various forms, are all around us. Perhaps you see distinct parts of your own unique story in them. We all have our own particular tangles of these threads, our specific personal combination of invisible ropes. The precise details might differ from person to person, but the underlying feeling of being held back is universal. The quiet, persistent yearning for something more. The dull, constant ache of unfulfilled potential. This shared human experience connects us all deeply. It powerfully reminds us that we are never truly alone in these struggles. Section 6. Illuminating the knots, the crucial step of awareness. We cannot hope to change what we do not first acknowledge. The very first, most crucial step to breaking free is awareness. We need to shine a bright, unflinching light on these invisible ropes. We need to see them clearly for what they truly are. We must begin to understand how they operate in our daily lives. This means getting genuinely curious about ourselves. It means asking ourselves some tough, sometimes uncomfortable questions, without judgment, without shame, just honest, open exploration. This is not about blame. It is about understanding. It is the bedrock upon which change is built. Start by noticing your recurring patterns of behavior. When do you feel that familiar, heavy pull of resistance? What specific situations or people trigger your deepest fears? What are the exact messages your inner critic consistently tells you? What particular societal expectations do you feel weighing heavily on you? Keep a journal to track these thoughts and feelings. Talk to a trusted friend who listens without judgment. Or consider speaking with a therapist or counselor. The primary goal here is to make the invisible visible, to give a name to the unnamed forces holding you back. This delicate process of illumination can be uncomfortable. It's not always easy to face our most profound fears head-on, or to fully admit the extent of our self-doubts, or to seriously challenge long-held beliefs about how life should be. It might feel like stirring up a settled, murky pond, bringing things to the surface that we'd rather leave undisturbed. But it's an absolutely essential part of the journey. You can't hope to untie a complicated knot if you can't see it clearly, or if you continue to pretend it's not even there. Courage is definitely needed here, even in small doses. Awareness is like suddenly turning on the lights in a dark room. All at once you see the obstacles clearly, you see the layout of the space, you see the potential exit routes. It doesn't magically remove the ropes in an instant, but it gives you something incredibly valuable to power. It gives you crucial information and new perspectives. It moves you from a place of passive, helpless reaction to a place of conscious, empowered choice. And that right there is where true, lasting change begins. That is the solid foundation for building a freer life. Section 7. Daring to snip, actively challenging our limitations. Awareness is the vital first step. Purposeful action is the necessary next. Once we clearly see our ropes, we need to actively challenge them. We need to find the courage to dare to snip those binding threads. This is where our bravery truly comes into sharp focus. It's about taking small, deliberate and consistent steps, the steps that lead us just outside our current comfort zone, even when we feel that familiar tremor of fear, especially when we feel that fear rising within us. It's about moving forward despite the discomfort. That is the essence of daring greatly in our own lives. How do we effectively challenge our pervasive fear? By facing it directly in small, manageable doses. If you fear public speaking, perhaps start by speaking up in a small, safe meeting. If you fear failure, try to redefine what failure actually means to you. See it not as a final, damning verdict on your worth, but as a valuable learning opportunity, a chance to grow. Each small act of courage systematically weakens the grip of fear. It slowly but surely builds our self-confidence. It gradually expands the boundaries of our world. It shows us we're more capable than fear suggests. How do we effectively challenge our persistent self-doubt? by consciously gathering evidence that contradicts its negative messages. Make it a point to celebrate your small wins, your daily progress. Remind yourself regularly of your unique strengths and past successes. Practice consistent self-compassion. This is key. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend. When that inner critic inevitably pipes up with its negativity, talk back to it with facts, with kindness, with a firm, unwavering belief in your inherent worthiness. You are enough, just as you are, right now. This internal dialogue shift is transformative. Challenging deeply ingrained societal pressures means living more authentically. It means making conscious choices that are aligned with your core values. Even if those choices sometimes go against the prevailing grain, this might involve having some difficult, honest conversations. It might mean learning to set clear, healthy boundaries with others. It means giving yourself explicit permission to be different, to be beautifully imperfect, to be gloriously, uniquely you. Every single choice you make in favor of your authenticity helps. It cuts another one of those restrictive societal ropes. It brings you closer to a life that feels truly your own. Section 8. The freedom to flourish. Crafting a life unbound. Overcoming these internal and external barriers is not a one-time event. It's not a finish line you cross and then you're done. It's an ongoing practice, a continuous journey. A journey that requires sustained courage and self-discovery. But with each individual rope we manage to loosen. With each limiting belief we successfully challenge. We create more precious space within and around us. Space to breathe more deeply. Space to grow more fully. Space to live our lives with greater intention and joy. It is a gradual, beautiful process of unfolding, of becoming more ourselves. Imagine for a moment a life where fear doesn't dictate your choices, where persistent self-doubt doesn't silence your most cherished dreams, where you feel completely free to be your authentic self without apology, without reservation. This is the profound promise of breaking free from these limitations. It's not about striving for a life without any challenges. Challenges are a natural part of the human experience. It's about cultivating a life where you feel equipped to meet them with resilience, with unwavering hope, with an open, courageous heart. This is the essence of true emotional freedom. This newfound freedom allows your unique individual gifts to finally emerge. Your deeply buried passions begin to ignite with fresh energy. Your sense of purpose in the world starts to become clearer. You start making important life choices from a place of love, not fear, from a place of abundance, not perceived scarcity. Life itself begins to feel more vibrant, more colorful, more meaningful, more deeply aligned with who you truly are at your core. You start to genuinely flourish, to thrive like a plant that is finally getting enough sunlight and nourishment. You are finally able to reach your full potential. Living a truly fulfilling life isn't about achieving perfection. Perfection is an illusion, an unattainable standard. It's about embracing wholeness. True, authentic wholeness. It's about embracing all the different parts of yourself, the messy parts, the brave parts, the scared parts too. They all belong. They all make you who you are. It's about showing up in your life, fully present, daring greatly, even when you're afraid, and knowing deep in your bones that you are enough, right now, exactly as you are. This is the ultimate freedom. Section 9, your invitation to a bigger life. Embrace your story, chase your dreams. Your personal story truly matters a great deal. Your unique experiences with these invisible ropes, your private struggles, your hard-won triumphs, no matter how small they might seem to you. They are all integral parts of your unique human journey. Sharing our stories, our vulnerabilities, connects us. It builds strong bridges of empathy and understanding. It powerfully reminds us that we are not alone in this often challenging human experience. Your story has the power to inspire and uplift others. What specific ropes are you currently navigating in your life? What particular fears are you bravely facing right now? What precious dreams are you carefully nurturing in your heart? I genuinely encourage you to reflect deeply on these questions, to be radically honest with yourself, without any judgment, and then to commit to taking one small, manageable step. One courageous action, however tiny it may feel, towards the kind of life you truly, deeply want to live. Your dreams are valid. They deserve to see the light of day. They are waiting for you to give them a chance. Remember always that breaking free is a gradual process. It is not a race. There is no fixed timeline. Be patient with yourself along the way. Be kind to yourself, especially when you stumble or feel discouraged. Celebrate every single bit of progress you make. There will inevitably be setbacks. There will be moments of doubt. That's okay. That's simply part of being human. The key is to keep showing up for yourself. To keep choosing courage over comfort again and again. To keep moving steadily towards your own unique version of a fulfilling life. So I invite you to dare. Dare to examine those invisible ropes. Dare to challenge their hold on you. Dare to step fully into your own arena, whatever that may be. The world genuinely needs your unique voice, your special gifts, your authentic, imperfect self. Don't let fear or doubt or societal pressure keep you small. Break free from those constraints. Chase those precious dreams. Live your life fully with passion and purpose. Your bigger, more expansive life is waiting for you. It's time to step forward and courageously claim it as your own.